There was a big tzaddik by the name of Rabbi Moshe Leib of Sassov. And he was especially involved in a particular mitzvah, that mitzvah being the redemption of captives. So you remember back in a few hundred years ago, White Russia, there was usually a landowner known as a poritz, and the way it worked is if you couldn't afford to pay the landowner rent, they generally had a dungeon of some sort, and they did not hesitate to be quite brutal and have you locked up in the dungeon until somehow you could pay off what you had owed. So right now we're stuck in quarantine, we're stuck in lockdown wherever we may be, right? And we think to ourselves, like, this is rough, I can't make it to work, I can't make enough money maybe to pay my rent, I'm stuck at home alone. But this isn't really all that different in a sense to what those Jews had to deal with back in those days. Let's say the White Russia, right? There was major snow, and a guy's job was to go peddling his wares out in a different city to buy and sell and whatever. Now he's snowed in. So not only is he stuck at home, but he doesn't even have a means of parnasa. So he's kind of like in lockdown with us. And he can't have the money and he can't pay the rent. The only thing different is that, even worse in a sense, he could get locked up with his family included in a dungeon. So what Rabbi Moshe Leib of Sassov did was really a major mitzvah. It was very special. A lot of the big Hasidic Rebbes used to do it back then, to raise money and go around and do this. And when he eventually passed on from this world, just like is the case for every one of us, whether you're a big tzaddik or you're a regular yid, and it doesn't change the fact that we all go through Gehinnom. This is, what we would call hell, but it's not really hell, right? Just the very existence of a human being in a physical body. There's not a single individual, says King Solomon, that does good all the time and doesn't do some kind of bad. And as soon as you do some kind of bad, even just being identifying and being involved in the physical condition, you need to kind of weed that off of yourself in order to move on to that high world of truth. So even the greatest tzaddikim, in a sense, have to go. It could be for a moment, as opposed to other individuals who go for months or however long they go, depending on their condition, their situation. So he's the soul of Reb Moshe Leib of Sassov now is taken for his, his time that he has to spend in Gehinnom. And all of a sudden he sees and he looks around and he says, woe unto me. Like, I thought it was bad in the physical world when I was there, how there's so many people that need help to be saved from captivity, to do this mitzvah that I cared so much about, redeeming these captives. But look how many souls are captive here. It's as bad, maybe even worse than over there. So now came the time when the angels came to escort him onto the next situation, to the heavenly tribunal, before he maybe made his way to either the Gan Eden or to reincarnate or whatever would be the next step. And Rabbi Moshe Leib of Sassov said to the angels, "Now I'm not going anywhere. Just like this was my mitzvah when I was alive, I would be disrespecting, I would be doing a disservice to everything I stood for if right now I allowed myself to go and leave these people stuck here without redeeming them or without doing something. So I refuse to go anywhere. You can't do anything about it. You'll have to drag me out of here, and even then I'm going to put up a fight." He said, "No, like, you don't understand. Like, you have to go to the heavenly tribunal. That's how it works. There's a system over here. You can't just do that." He says, "Well, tell the heavenly tribunal to come over here. I'm not going anywhere." So the angels say, you don't know what you're doing. Like, you're going to cause uproar. This isn't how it works. So in the end, they realized they weren't getting the tzaddik to budge. So in the heavenly tribunal came, and it's not really a physical coming, right? It was kind of like, I don't know what it means that in spiritual terms, like how they, all of a sudden appeared in a sense, and they're like, "Dude, like, it's time for you to move on. Like, you've done your time here." And he says, "No, I refuse. I will not leave without these people." And it started causing like such a balagan over there. So eventually a decision was made. And there are two different variations of the story. I'm just going to pick one and go with it. That the heavenly tribunal came to the conclusion, how about this? we will look at all the favors you did while you were alive, all the good deeds you did while you were alive, and for each good deed, each favor you did for another, we will allow you to take one of these enslaved here in Gehinnom with you. And so they started doing a tally, and lo and behold, it worked out that he just had enough to take each and every one of them out. And we can maybe learn a lesson about this, that all around us, there are people that are stuck in their own Gehinnom. They're stuck in their own terrible, terrible situation. And you have the power, by virtue of a single favor, by virtue of a single good deed, of fishing them out of that Gehinnom and helping them move on, helping them reach a fulfillment and just a better life in general. That's in our hands. That's in every one of our hands to do. So that's our story.